Hey Falcons Nation! Let's be real, our midseason slump isn't just due to poor performances on the field. The problems start in the front office. General Manager Terry Fontenot has had his share of missteps when it comes to free agency. But before we dive into today's exclusive discussion, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel so you never miss the latest updates on your favorite team. Alright, let's get to it, because we have some big questions about the direction of this team, and they start at the top. Let's give credit where credit is due. Jesse Bates, Kirk Cousins, Darnell Mooney, and Mike Hughes were all fantastic additions. These players delivered big moments and kept the Falcons competitive early in the season. But here's the thing, free agent successes can only take a team so far. The draft is where championship teams are built, and unfortunately, that's where Fontenot has consistently fallen short. Whether it's a lack of edge rushers or a failure to address glaring holes on the roster, the Falcons have been hampered by draft day decisions that haven't lived up to expectations. It's no secret that the Falcons have struggled to rush the passer for years. Coming into this season, we knew the pass rush was a major issue. And yet, in the offseason, no significant additions were made to address that. When Bud Dupree and Calais Campbell left, the already weak pass rush got even thinner. The team decided to rely on Arnold Ebiketie and Lorenzo Carter, despite a lack of evidence that they could consistently pressure opposing quarterbacks. Predictably, that gamble didn't pay off. When you look at Fontenot's draft history, it's hard to feel optimistic. Sure, players like Drake London and Robinson are exciting and productive, but what about the picks after them? Where's the depth? Where are the defensive playmakers? The Falcons' inability to consistently hit the mark on draft picks has left us in a position where our offense needs to be perfect just to remain competitive. And as we've seen during this crisis, that's not a sustainable strategy. Here's where things get interesting. On Tuesday, the New York Jets fired GM Joe Douglas, a guy with a reputation for drafting well, despite some glaring mistakes like Zach Wilson. Douglas helped build a Jets roster that includes standouts like Sauce Gardner, Garrett Wilson, Jermaine Johnson, and Breece Hall. Imagine the Falcons bringing in someone like that to help Fontenot improve the draft process. Think about it. The Falcons have seemingly figured out the quarterback position with Kirk Cousins in the short term and Michael Penix Jr. as the potential future of the franchise. If Fontenot could lean on someone like Douglas to nail the draft, this team could open a championship window that would stay open for years. But it would take a bold move to bring in outside help, and we wonder if Fontenot would be willing to take that step. This slump isn't just about losses, it's about missed opportunities. The NFC South is wide open, and the Falcons are taking control. But instead of addressing obvious weaknesses like their passing pressure, the team has opted to focus on offensive firepower, hoping that would be enough. That approach worked at first, but now the cracks are showing, and the blame lies squarely with the front office. For fans, it's frustrating to see a team with so much potential stumble because of decisions made months ago. With a roster that's good enough to compete but not great enough to dominate, the Falcons risk blowing a golden opportunity to claim the division and make some playoff noise. So where do we go from here? Should the Falcons stick with Fontenot and hope he learns from his mistakes? Or is it time to start considering a front office shakeup? Could bringing in someone like Joe Douglas be the answer to finally fixing our draft woes? These are big questions that the organization, and we as fans, need to think about. Should Terry Fontenot stay in charge, or is it time for new direction? And would you be on board to bring in a guy like Joe Douglas to help with recruiting? The Falcons' defense has been nothing short of a disaster this season. The stats don't lie. Ranked 26th in scoring defense, 25th in total yards allowed per game, dead last in sacks and completion percentage allowed, and near the bottom in nearly every other defensive category. This unit has failed to get the job done. With the trade deadline behind us, no reinforcements are coming. The personnel is set, which means the only way forward is a philosophical shift. Defensive coordinator Jimmy Lake has faced significant criticism for his lack of adjustments. The Falcons rarely blitz, running with 4 or fewer defenders on nearly 90% of their passing plays. This passive approach has allowed opposing quarterbacks like rookie Bo Nix to pick apart the defense with ease. The lack of pressure and soft coverage has become a recurring theme, giving offenses too much time and space to operate. Former Falcons quarterback Dave Archer called for more aggression, suggesting tighter coverage, pressuring receivers at the line, and forcing quarterbacks into more difficult throws. While this approach might lead to the occasional big play, the current strategy isn't working, and continuing down the same path feels like accepting defeat. The question now is whether Lake will adjust his philosophy or if head coach Raheem Morris needs to step in and take control of play-calling duties. Standing pat isn't an option. Even if the adjustments don't yield immediate results, they at least provide an opportunity to disrupt opposing offenses. It's time to roll the dice, because what's there to lose? Shifting gears to another major storyline, franchise legend Grady Jarrett might be playing his final games as a Falcon. Jarrett has been a cornerstone of this team for years, embodying leadership and consistency during some of the franchise's highest and lowest moments. However, all great careers eventually come to an end, and financial realities may force the Falcons to move on from the veteran defensive tackle. Jarrett's cap hit for next season is $20.4 million, a number that's difficult to justify given his recent production. After suffering a season-ending injury last year, Jarrett has struggled to make the same impact we've grown accustomed to. While his contributions often go beyond the stat sheet, the harsh truth is that the Falcons could save $15 to $16 million in cap space by releasing him in the offseason. That cap flexibility could be critical as the team looks to address its many needs. The best-case scenario would be Jarrett agreeing to a pay cut, allowing him to stay in Atlanta at a more team-friendly price. However, these types of agreements are rare, and Jarrett may prefer to test the open market, where a fresh start could await him. Unless he turns in a dominant performance over the final stretch of the season, the odds of him returning at his current salary seem slim. As we hit the bye week, the Falcons face crucial decisions that will shape both the immediate and long-term future of the franchise. Can the defense make the necessary adjustments to salvage this season, or will we continue to see the same issues week after week? And when it comes to Grady Jarrett, should the Falcons prioritize cap savings over loyalty to one of the team's all-time greats? What do you think, Falcons fans? Should the defense adopt a more aggressive approach, or is a philosophical shift too risky? And what about Grady Jarrett? Do you think the Falcons should cut ties to save money, or is his leadership too valuable to let go? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button before you go. Your support keeps this community going strong, and we have more updates, reviews, and exclusive coverage coming your way. Thanks for watching, and as always, go Falcons!